Hello and welcome to Edinburgh Waverley. Today we're heading to London, riding 8 hours overnight on the Caledonian Sleeper. Edinburgh Waverley is Edinburgh's central railway station. Edinburgh Waverley was built back in 1866 and is the second busiest station in Scotland after Glasgow Central. The station serves as the northern terminus of the East Coast Main Line, with services from Lumo, LNER, Cross Country, TransPennine Express, Avanti West Coast, ScotRail, and of course the Caledonian Sleeper. With boarding beginning at 10:30 and a departure time of 11:40 p.m., it's no surprise that almost everything in the station is closed for the night. I wish I had more footage of the station, but I was exhausted after a long day, so the only thing I wanted was to get to our train. Following the signs for Platform 11, we can pass through the gate line and out to our train. Our consist this evening is formed of a single Class 92 locomotive with a rake of British Rail Mark V coaches in tow. We'll be staying in Room 8 in Car E, a classic suite in the third coach on tonight's train. Even though we're here well after 10:30, boarding has yet to begin. As we would later learn from our car attendant, the onboard staff were trying to fix an issue with the room keys not binding to the correct rooms. On the adjacent platforms, ScotRail trains make their final runs in and out of the station. First to head out from Platform 12 is Class 385 number 385117 with the 2245 service to Glasgow Queen Street. Platform 12 is only empty for a few minutes, as in comes 385003 with the sister service from Glasgow Queen Street. As 385003 pulls to a stop, the doors on the Caledonian Sleeper unlock and we can climb aboard. Squeezing down the narrow corridor, we find Room 8, our home for the next 8 hours. Stepping inside, we're met with a small but modern room. It's not a ton of space, but it'll be more than enough to get a decent night's sleep. There are 2 bunks, a full vanity, and enough space to really stretch out. Each room on the Caledonian is locked through a hotel keycard system. The keycards are found inside each room upon entry and are assigned to the door by each passenger. Unfortunately, we found no such keycard tonight as the issues that delayed our boarding were not resolved. If you're looking for a bite to eat or just something to sip on after a long day, then you need look no further than the club car. The club car is located towards the rear of the train between the sleeper and seated coaches. The club car in the Caledonian is beautiful and modern. There are plenty of booths on one side for a more traditional experience, while the other features stools angled towards the windows, making it easier to see outside. The blue and brown Caledonian interiors look great, with their comfortable upholstery and wood fixtures, all helped by the great lighting throughout. As tempting as the club car is, a good night's rest is what I'm really after, so it's back to our room. Before we head out of Edinburgh, let's take a look at our route this evening. Our journey on the Caledonian Sleeper begins heading southwest out of Edinburgh. Our train winds through rural Scotland to Carstairs, where we couple onto the Glasgow half of the train. The now doubled consist joins the West Coast mainline traffic, heading through Carlisle, Lancaster, and Preston as we slumber. Our train splits the difference between Liverpool and Manchester, passing Birmingham, Northampton, and Watford before slowing for our arrival at London Euston. We'll cover a total of 385 miles between Scotland and England tonight, with a travel time of 7 hours and 40 minutes. The clock hits 11:40 and our Class 92 powers to life, hauling the Caledonian Sleeper out of Edinburgh Waverley Station. As the lights of Edinburgh fade out, we can turn our attention inwards for a tour of our classic suite. Classic and club suites aren't super large, but do include 2 bunks, a full vanity, and a decent amount of storage. Laid out neatly on the bottom bunk are one of two sleeping kits, the room service menu, and the breakfast card. The sleeping kits are packaged in a branded reusable pouch. Taking a look inside, we find a branded eye shade, earplugs, and a bar of soap. It's not a lot, but it does make the ride a bit more comfortable. The room service menu is a combination of both the Highlander and Lowlander route offerings, which include options for both breakfast and dinner. Everything can be brought to your suite by a car attendant, though I would much rather eat in the club car. The breakfast card allows passengers to choose an optional breakfast item for tomorrow morning. All sleeper tickets on the Caledonian include a complimentary beverage and oat bar, which sounds nice until you see what it really is tomorrow morning. Full breakfast items are complimentary to club and double suite passengers, with full items a paid extra for our classic ticket. Passengers then hang their completed cards on the door, and the crew comes by to collect them in preparation for breakfast tomorrow. Sleeping accommodations in both classic and club suites come in the form of two bunk beds. Each bunk is 190 centimeters long and 65.5 centimeters wide, or 74.8 inches long and 25.7 inches wide for those of you stateside. The bunks are long enough to accommodate taller individuals, though the narrow width can be uncomfortable for some. The bedding is quite soft and comes with two full-size pillows. Climbing into the bottom bunk, there's just barely enough space for me, my feet pressed up against the far wall to accommodate my 6'3" frame. The bottom bunk features the majority of the room controls. At the head of the bed are the temperature controls and master light switch, plus a reading light and USB port. The control panel next to the sink houses the window light, attendant call button, two more USB ports, and two full outlets for charging. Two cubbies are found on either end of the bottom bunk. Two complimentary bottles of water are found in the cubby by the head, with the other empty as a place to store charging devices overnight. The top bunk is essentially the same as the bottom, but the controls at the head have been reduced to just a reading light, USB port, and master light switch. If you're traveling solo, the top bunk can be flipped up against the wall by a member of staff, but I didn't really mind it all too much. The vanity in each room is surprisingly high quality. Unlike Amtrak's roomette sinks, these include a proper basin with a built-in drain. The faucet works well with a bar of soap and a pencil for marking the breakfast card provided in the tray to the side. Two complimentary towels can be found hanging from beneath the sink, the trash can found closer towards the wall. In between the sink and the towel rack is a stowable table. Pulling the flap up reveals the table, which can be rolled out and unfolded. It's fairly large and will certainly come in handy come breakfast time. To the left of the sink is a large mirror, the light for which is controlled via the panel at the foot of the bottom bunk. Storage space is fine for one passenger, with a luggage hold beneath the bottom bunk, plus a bit of extra space beneath the sink. It's more than enough space for me, though with two people, both with a suitcase and a backpack, it would definitely get pretty tight. Each room includes a single small window. Pulling up on the sunshade reveals the dark nothingness of the Scottish countryside as we continue south. All in all, the room is quaint but comfortable, and for £210 or $265, the Classic Suite is a great deal. If you're enjoying our ride on the Caledonian Sleeper, why not hit that subscribe button? It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members. Y'all are amazing and I cannot thank you enough for your incredible support. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. If sleeper suites aren't your style, or you're just looking for something on the cheaper side, then the Caledonian also offers seats for overnight travelers. The seated coaches are laid out in a 2x1 with 10 rows plus an accessible seat for a total of 31 passengers per car. The seats are fine. Each seat offers around 7 inches of legroom with a small amount of space beneath the next seat. Each seat includes a footrest which extends down from the next seat, though it's not really usable for taller individuals. The tray table folds down from the seat back and includes a retractable section to increase its usable surface. At-seat power is provided through a single outlet and USB port on the headrest of the seat in front. Armrests are found on either side of each seat, with the seat recline lever found below. A reading light is built into the headrest above our right shoulder and is controlled via a button beneath it. The seats are more akin to business class than a sleeper train, but they're comfortable enough to get some decent shut-eye en route. Above each row are attendant call buttons and the most important feature of an overnight train, lockable storage compartments. No longer must passengers worry about valuables being stolen overnight, as each passenger is designated a small compartment in the overhead rack that can be locked using the number pad. For larger bags, luggage racks are found in the forward vestibule. If you're looking for a cheaper alternative to the sleeper cars, then this will definitely work. Tickets start at around £50 or $63, and although it won't be as comfortable as a room, for a quarter of the price, it's definitely worth it. It's getting rather late, which means it's time for bed. Climbing under the covers, we can get comfortable for a good night's rest. We awake the next morning to the sound of our train rolling away down the West Coast main line. Opening the window shade, we find ourselves passing through Watford Junction, which means we're about 20 minutes out from our arrival in London. A knock comes from the door, the delivery of our breakfast. Included in the selection is our complimentary beverage, a cup of coffee, plus a small oat bar. Unfortunately, the coffee is just instant coffee mixed into a cup of hot water. It's not terrible, though I was really hoping for a freshly brewed cup of coffee to start the day. The complimentary oat bar is laughably small. I suppose it's meant to tide people over until they get a proper breakfast at their final destination, but still, they could have done better than this. With our final few minutes on board, it's worth taking a look at the bathroom on our coach. At the rear of our car is an accessible bathroom. Pressing the open button slides the door open with a helpful announcement. Pressing the close button does the opposite, the friendly voice reminding us to lock the door upon entry. The bathroom is quite spacious and, more importantly, very clean. The automatic sink works well with plenty of soap and an electric hand dryer. Accessible grab handles are found throughout the facility, painted in a contrasting blue to make them easier to see. Though it doesn't have the same Caledonian Sleeper aesthetic, it's still a very nice facility.
The toilet door is unlocked. The toilet door is open.
The lights of London begin to illuminate the world outside, the dark sky slowly turning a deep blue as sunrise begins. As the early morning overground and Avanti West Coast services make their way north, our train comes to a stop at London Euston Station. Though we've reached the end of the line, we're not technically required to vacate our room for another 30 minutes. This grace period allows passengers who are just now waking up ample time to get ready to go about their days. With one final look at our room, we can gather our belongings and step off the train into London. With our journey now complete, it's time to bring today's video to a close. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. If you want to go the extra mile with your support, then check out the channel's Patreon or become a channel member. If you too want your name in the video, access to exclusive weekly posts, and even the opportunity to vote on future videos, then click the links in the top right or in the description below to learn more. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.